Demetrian Titus was born approximately 175 standard years before the end of the 41st millennium in the realm of Ultramar. This realm is the domain of the Ultramarines Chapter of the Adeptus Astartes, who are celebrated across the Imperium as one of its greatest and most stalwart defenders. Titus was recruited at a young age and quickly showed his potential, although he sometimes struggled to control his temper. Despite these challenges, he excelled and endured numerous physical and psychological trials, steadily rising through the ranks of the Ultramarines' Second Company. Titus followed the Codex Astartes, a sacred book of strategy and conduct authored by Robout Guilliman, the Primarch of the Ultramarines. However, Titus believed that the Codex's true worth lay in its essence rather than its exact interpretation. During his early years in the military, he developed a strong connection with veteran Sergeant Sidonus, a bond that would play a crucial role in his future endeavors. During an early mission, Titus encountered a Chaos Sorcerer, a Psyker corrupted by the ruinous powers of Chaos. The Sorcerer's attacks, infused with the warp, devastated Titus' squad, leaving him as the only survivor. Despite sustaining serious injuries, Titus miraculously endured direct blasts of warp energy and successfully defeated the sorcerer on his own. This remarkable recovery surprised the apothecaries of the chapter, leading to speculation among his fellow Marines about the potential of chaos corruption. However, Titus himself could not explain his extraordinary resilience. Later, the Second Company was deployed to the world of Beta Arcturus to repel an invasion by the craft world Eldari of Bealtan. Captain Trajan, the company's leader, killed the Eldari Autarch during the battle. Meanwhile, Titus led Trajan's command squad against the Autarch's elite bodyguard. Titus personally accounted for the deaths of 3 aspect warriors, easily penetrating their wraithbone armor with his chainsword. Despite the victory, the Eldari managed to capture a young battle brother named Leandros during their retreat. Trajan assembled a squad to rescue Leandros, but they fell into an Eldari ambush and Trajan was killed. In the absence of their leader, Titus took command and led the counterattack, eventually driving the Eldari from Beta Arcturus. Recognizing Titus's leadership, Chapter Master Marneus Calgar made his temporary captaincy of the Second Company permanent. Under Titus's command, the company achieved numerous victories, earning the respect of senior Ultramarines such as First Captain Severus Agamemnon and Calgar himself. They regarded Titus as a humble role model and an exceptional warrior. Despite his success, however, Titus battled with self-doubt, burdened by the weight of the responsibility passed down from his deceased mentor. By the late 41st millennium, Titus had faithfully served the Ultramarines for over 150 years. Throughout countless battles, he was accompanied by his comrades Sidonus and Leandros. 10 years after assuming command of the Second Company, Titus led a strike force of Ultramarines to rescue the Forge world of Graia. This planet had fallen under the invasion of the Orcs of Washington AGH. Grimskull, led by Warboss Grimskull himself, the Orcs aimed to seize advanced Imperial weaponry, including a formidable Warlord-class battle Titan. This invasion formed part of a larger plan devised by the Chaos Sorcerer Nemeroth, who led a Chaos Space Marine warband called the Chosen of Nemeroth. Nemeroth's ultimate goal was to obtain an experimental power source on Graia, which would grant him the power to ascend to demonhood. Titus, accompanied by Sidonus and Leandros, joined forces with the Astra Militarum's 203rd Cadian Shock Troops Regiment, led by 2nd Lieutenant Mira. Together, they successfully killed Grimskull and halted the Orc Washington AGH. However, their supposed ally Inquisitor Drogon betrayed them, as he had secretly been assisting Nemeroth. It was revealed that Drogon was an undead pawn controlled by Nemeroth, who used an experimental power source to open a warp portal. This allowed Nemeroth and his forces to invade Graia. During the battle, Titus once again demonstrated immunity to the sorcerer's psychic abilities, raising suspicions in Leandros, who strictly adhered to orthodox beliefs. Following Sidonus' death at the hands of Nemeroth, Titus relentlessly pursued and defeated the Chaos Sorcerer, thwarting his attempt to attain demonhood. Despite this triumph, Inquisitor Thrax apprehended Titus under the suspicion of heresy. Thrax's doubts stemmed from Leandros' report, which emphasized Titus's resistance against warp corruption and his deviations from the Codex Astartes. Consequently, Titus was apprehended by Thrax and subsequently wiped from the Ultramarines' records. Thrax, who held a deep mistrust of the Adeptus Astartes after the Badab War, imprisoned Titus for more than a century. During this time, Titus endured continuous torture and psychic interrogation in an effort to discover the source of his resistance to warp energies. Thrax would periodically put Titus in stasis between interrogations, but despite finding no evidence of chaos corruption, he refused to release him. Meanwhile, Marneus Calgar made several unsuccessful attempts to secure Titus's return to the chapter. Thrax met his end during an operation against the corrupted Greyslayer's chapter. He was possessed by a demon and killed by his own Grey Knight retinue. After Thrax's death, a Red Hunter's kill team discovered Titus and other Astartes imprisoned in stasis cells at one of Thrax's watch stations. Titus was taken to the Deathwatch Fortress, Watcher Keep. There, he was found free of chaos, taint, and disloyalty. However, feeling he had brought shame upon his name and the Ultramarines, Titus purged his battleplate of its heraldry and went into self-imposed exile. He assumed the name Nullus and served as a Deathwatch Black Shield. As Nullus, Titus fought alongside his Deathwatch brethren in his quest for redemption through service. During the Fourth Tyrannic War, Nullus was a member of Kill Team Caesarion, which was sent to the Residius system to support the Astra Militarum on the planet Kadaku. However, their gunship was shot down by Tyranid bioforms, resulting in a fierce battle where Titus sustained severe injuries from a Tyranid Carnifex. While on the brink of death, he was saved by the arrival of the Ultramarines' First Company, led by First Captain Severus Agamemnon and Chief Librarian Tigurius, who had come to reinforce the Deathwatch. Titus was returned to the Ultramarines' ship, the Righteous Fury, where he underwent the Calgarian rites. These rites, known to the Ultramarines, were a procedure to transform a Space Marine into a Primaris Space Marine. Despite his grave injuries, Titus survived the procedure and emerged even stronger than before. When he woke up, he was surprised to find himself reinstated as a lieutenant under Captain Sevastus Acheran. Acheran had recently left the Scout Marine Reserve when Titus was taken away from the Ultramarines almost a century earlier. Despite some initial concerns among the Ultramarines about his return, Chief Librarian Tigurius personally examined Titus and confirmed his freedom from any corruption. After psychically consulting with Chapter Master Marneus Calgar, Titus was officially reinstated into the Ultramarines. As Lieutenant Demetrian Titus of the Second Company, he vowed to unleash the fury of his chapter upon the Imperium's adversaries. Tigurius sensed Titus's soul in the warp as the Ultramarines' strike cruiser, Righteous Fury, traveled through the Imperium to reach the Residius system. Despite the Tyranid's shadow in the warp obscuring his psychic vision, the Chief Librarian still recognized the soul of the warrior who had previously served as the captain of the Second Company. Fate guided the Righteous Fury to the outskirts of the Residius system, where its Thunderhawk gunships were deployed to the planet's surface. They successfully rescued the dying Black Shield known as Nullus, who would soon be reborn as Demetrian Titus, once again becoming a member of the Ultramarines.